Good morning, Madam Va. Thank you firstly, Maria Palambini. Meeting you at a conference in our home state of New Jersey made all the difference. I sat happily at your round table. Blockchain was the title. We knew immediately our passions aligned. We were on the course to find ways to make blockchain work for scientists, biotech, pharma, engineers, and most especially for me, for patients and caregivers. I remember you cupped your hand in a fist, calling it blockchain, and you said, Jean, you have the opportunity to reach the patients, and you put your pointer finger into the cupped fist, and that will make all the difference in the work we are doing, you said. My presentation begins way before this slide. In 1938, the year my dad, Jack Burke, joined the Prudential Insurance Company, working with the first computers. He took time off to fight in France and Germany in World War II. As a senior method analyst in the 50s and 60s, he turned the big containers of file cabinets filled with insurance data into conduits using the available technology, mainframe computers. Growing up in his household with his DNA means I have always been in technology, more like my 12 grandchildren, the Generation Z. I hope all of you are curious. There are 3 things I will show you. Number 1, you will meet a very vibrant cystic fibrosis community that has been in association with each other since 1996. I was an original.comer purchasing over 100 medical domain names. Cysticfibrosis.com was one of them. You will be convinced that they have an unmet need, one that technology can fill. This is a challenge that someone like technology philosopher Kevin Kelly would agree is what technology wants. You will be inspired to wake up your imaginations and come on board thinking of ways you can help and be involved, because you will love them, and that is guaranteed. I have been known before to use my favorite metaphor, the Wizard of Oz. I used it in 2011 in a blog post for Pharma Forum, and hence I won the first Patient Centricity Award from Paul Tuna. I am also a founding member of the Aurora Project, also out of the UK, so I am in the right place. The cyclone, the Wizard of Oz, and in fact the disease begins with a cyclone, and the diagnosis of CF is definitely life-changing. One of our members, David with CF, a geneticist himself, claims, things are happening in our lifetime that would be unethical to study in a healthy person, making our community and ones with similar chronic diseases a perfect study. To explain a little more about the surveys and research we have done, I will be using 2 recent surveys. The first one, Discovery, Research, and Profit, was written with Corey Nislow, PhD of the Genetics Lab, University of British Columbia. The online survey ran from October 2017 till April 2018. The second one ran in the past month. It is aptly named Blockchain and Clinical Trials. We asked, are you interested in an app for discovery, research, and profit? 1,200 plus respondents answered, so indeed they are. The ages prove that this is no longer a childhood disease. Over 50% are between 19 and 44 years old. Good care and long treatment regimens up to 6 hours a day, and the latest medications are working. One of our patients says, we are professional patients. Still curious? You will be convinced that this community has an unmet need. There is so much information personified by the scarecrow in search of a brain, and finally, now we have the technology to turn mega amounts of data into information. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease, and identities become attached to the 2 or even more mutations on the CFTR gene, and perhaps even other genes. There are more than 2,000 mutations and counting on the CFTR gene. So we asked them, do you know their mutations? And indeed they do. Different countries have access to different types of diagnosis. One member from Pakistan tells us, unfortunately, in Pakistan, only double delta F508 mutation test is available. I have that one, but there are so many other patients who don't know their mutations. And another caregiver from Israel states, now Israel tests for 14 mutations. At a conference in Washington in April, I met with the head of rare diseases in Malaysia. She assured me there were lots of CF patients there. I thought this disease is for the Irish. My 1920s ancestry information speaks of Aunt Kay, who had a terrible cough, and she died at 32 years old. I wonder, did she have CF? And so we asked them, what data are you already collecting or willing to collect? It's not surprising that medication use came in first. They could be on 40 different medications in a day. And all this information is opportunity for more data, information, and integration. I know what you're wondering now. How do patients keep track of all the valuable data they are contending with? So we asked them. The surprising answers. 30% keep no records, 50% paper or hard copy. And I'm familiar. I've been to their homes and I've seen the filing cabinets and the refrigerator doors filled with clips and magnets. Some 32% keep digital type spreadsheets, and only 16% use technology on mobile devices. The opportunity is clear. More consistent data using technology is more actionable. And that's why I'm very excited today to be presenting with Robert Chu, because his app based on blockchain technology, Patient Truth, can organize the data into information owned by the patient on their cell phone. This disease may be recognized through the different symptoms on the lungs, the gastro, the sinuses, the pancreas, or perhaps one of the different types of tests spots the 2 mutations needed for the diagnosis right away. One member still looking for a second mutation tells us Johns Hopkins database of over 2,000 mutations found his one mutation, D1152H, and now he is in the Johns Hopkins special study to find mutations on 3 other genes believed to affect CF. At this point, the patient's care is dependent on many different healthcare professionals, and they're collecting lots of data too. You can see we are now officially in Oz, as designed by my 5-year-old grandson, Elliot. There is a new identity, even a new set of linguistics, as CFers, as they refer to themselves, now clearly are identified by their DNA mutations and their pulmonary function scores. And the CF centers are commissioned to take these 21 categories and give an assessment to the CF Foundation once a year for all their patients. All this checking and entering done by hand and by available staff, according to CF nurse Tamika Grubbs, is an opportunity for mistakes to be made. It is unfortunate, and even more than that, because these assessments are the data that is sold to pharma. And the Tin Man, In Search of a Heart, my favorite. Persons with CF cannot be together due to the possibility of cross-infections. So the community site developed in 1996 has meaning beyond the usual tribal development. As a math and computer science teacher, I love new technology. The forums have been active for 23 years, along with social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram following along. Since I have been reading the millions of searchable messages on the forum, I do declare myself an expert. I long to find the right technology for the community. I get excited with each new passing device, which may make a difference in their lives. I hope you will agree that blockchain technology may just be the answer we are looking for. I have given you a lot of information, and now we can take a breather. Why? Because I am a teacher, and what do teachers love? Assignments. Here is one for you. And roundabout from the Tin Man. Close your eyes. Imagine all the people you love. Let them come in before you. I'll give you a minute. Are you ready? Are they all here? How many of you have 10 or more? 10 or less? That's an arithmetic assignment. The geometry homework assignment, straight from the Tin Man, is coming later. Ah, my business card. As a site founder and owner, I always hire health opinion leaders from the site if I have the funds, and this slide is my business card. It's a bit of a sacramental for me, designed by a very talented businesswoman with cystic fibrosis in South Africa. When we are lucky, Lene works with me designing the site and newsletters, keeping me from going crazy. Still curious, we asked, do you or did you wish to contribute even more in a clinical trial? And of course they do. They are their best cheerleaders, urging each other on into clinical trials, even remembering back 20 or so years for the first clinical trials run by Genentech. Sometimes they even feel guilty that others did not qualify for a trial that they are lucky enough to be in. One member said, if only we can work around schedules, out of school, out of work hours, and no hospital stays. We asked them, how far did you travel for a clinical trial? And it's the full gamut, from 5 miles to 72,000 kilometers, and every amount in between. They go the extra mile. We wondered, after all, if compensation would matter. This could change the marketplace for this community and everyone with valuable data. 68% said yes to sharing their data for compensation. 33% said yes without. 29% liked the idea of part of their compensation going to a charity of their choice, and 5% said no. We had lots of comments for this one, and of course throughout the survey. My favorite one is private industry is going to benefit financially, and compensation levels the field. The potential wealth in genomic data is beyond comprehension. I am still curious, asking the community, do you wish the company holding the trial reported back to you their data and their findings? And indeed they do. 81% agreed. One stating it would be nice. One reported his doctor had informed him, and one stating the trial she was in had been terminated. There is really another cyclone happening here in Europe, the elephant in the room, the European law GDPR. I love to think of it hearkening back to Genesis 1:26. Imagine the author of Genesis claiming that man is made in the image and likeness of God. There is some value in that statement. That must have startled the first hearers. They were familiar with the Greek and Roman gods. Really, they must have thought. And now, in the same vein, blockchain is set to help with our self-sovereign identity. This is a thundercloud. Our member, Cohen Vingerhoutz, a dad with a young son with CF working in the blockchain space, helps us to understand that new technological evolutions like blockchain allow the creation of a platform on which you are the sole owner and viewer of your data. You administrate your own data. You decide who has access to which parts. Wow. This brings me to author Frank Baum's Wizardry and the Emerald City. The approach is daunting, and I wonder if out of the curtain will appear just some real people, just like all of you, at work doing marvelous things. This is an exciting concept to open communication between the actual creators, scientists, and patients without using the doctors as translators. I think this will open a new world of info and products to make our lives healthier and easier, said one member, and he said thank you. Wizards doing marvelous things. Are you a patient, a caregiver, a scientist, pharma, bio, and my personal favorite, a teacher? Ken Robinson, PhD, he's from around here, and where is he? The native Liverpoolian, the teacher. He's always looking for three things: curriculum, teachers, creativity. There's lots of curriculum here as we peer into our bodies and learn what makes us work. Our genetics, be it our lungs, our sinuses, our gastro, our pancreas, medications, all the tests, PFTs, glucose monitoring, bronchoscopies, port and PICC lines, G-tubes, delivery systems, and the beat goes on. Meet our team. They are very courageous people, and they're all ready to work with you. Survey participants came from 34 countries and every state in the United States except Wyoming. Even though the brilliant Jewish philosopher Emanuel Levinas said the only thing that really converts people, the ultimate moral imperative, is the face of the other. In the USA, where healthcare is tenuous, it isn't always possible to show your face if you have a pre-existing condition. We have formed a 20-member pilot group to work with Robert Shue and his team, Patient Truth. They include a caregiver from North Dakota and her son born with CF because of a blockage of the small intestine. He was rushed to a neighboring state for care, and now he is a strapping high school freshman. His mom joined our forums immediately, and now she has over 20,000 postings. She is present. Another caregiver active on our site is a mom from the state of Maine. Her daughter with CF loves art and will be heading to college soon. Her mom wants to make sure that she can continue to share in her care even from a distance. A woman who just celebrated her 40th birthday from Massachusetts joins the group. She has been in 2 clinical trials for the precision medicines that have come from Vertex Pharma. She also has a 10-year-old son with CF. A grandmother and a primary caregiver, and also an attorney, joins us from Indiana, and her 13-year-old grandson, who continues to do very well with plenty of exercise and team sports, keeping his grandma very busy. A young male CFer from Maryland will be part of the team. He works in IT. Our PhD geneticist with CF joins us from Colorado. A young woman who is an app guru, combining many apps to keep her data formulated, joins us from Arizona. A young woman, 27 years old, we gathered around her as she received her lung transplant at 14, then a kidney transplant from her mom, and now she can hear again with cochlear implants. She is an artist. Coming from Pennsylvania is a mom with a 9-year-old son who is doing very well. And she and her daughter were diagnosed with CF when he was born. A dad closely working with CF, cysticfibrosis.com actually, for many years from Texas, and his daughter at a college in Utah. A family with a 4-year-old in Florida, a member and another married male from CF joins us from Tennessee. He is a videographer and made for all of us a beautiful video to help understand the amazing process we are in as we join with Patient Truth on the Yellow Brick Road. This is a very vibrant cystic fibrosis community. CF patients and caregivers have an unmet need. Chase me down and be sure and get my business card and give me yours. And this is your assignment, straight from the Tin Man. Now that you are working with this community, the tip of the iceberg of rare diseases, imagine this. It's geometric. It's not how many people you love, it's how many people love you.